Hi, and welcome to this edition of MyMetroTV.com. Daybreak, first stop to the rest of the weekend. I'm Frederick Knight. Thank you for joining us this morning. Got a great show on tap for you. Coming up, my conversation with Nate Barber of South Carolina Bank and Trust. We'll talk about the recovery, where it's going, the kind of timeline we can expect, and some tips on how to weather the storm. Also on the way, we've got a behind-the-scenes look at the new Steven Spielberg movie, Super 8. We'll take a look at things going on in and around the Metro. Plus, we'll have tips on how you can get an A+ on financing your child's education. All that and more coming up on this morning's edition of MyMetroTV.com. Daybreak, first stop to the rest of the weekend. I recently spoke with Nate Barber of South Carolina Bank and Trust about the state of the economic recovery. So, Mr. Barber, could you tell me a little bit about what you think the current economic conditions are for South Carolina and the country as far as the recovery goes?
Tough question, and I guess the answer depends on where you sit. And for some, it's we have roughly 10% unemployment, 9.1% unemployment. So that means 90% of people are working. But for that 10, it's been a rough haul. In terms of what is actually happening in the economy now, South Carolina lags the national economy. So it went into the recession later, and it'll come out a little bit later than the rest of the country. What we see here at the bank, and I've talked with several people here on our credit side to see what it is that our bank is experiencing, and pretty much it looks as though the worst is over. We haven't necessarily started getting better, but at least it's not getting bad anymore. Is kind of the consensus I'm talking on the credit side, but still a tough road to hoe. But and this recession is a little different than the recessions that people in our age group may have experienced in their lifetime, because this was a recession that was induced by the financial world. And whenever there's a credit-induced recession, it's going to take longer to come out of it because it took longer to get there. And so it is very painful for those that are, especially those that are unemployed, but even those that are employed, it's been difficult on the credit side to get credit. Housing is still slow, so we have a long way to go to get back, but it seems as though the worst of it seems to be over.
In your estimation, could you give me a timeline? Do you think it's 6 months, 8 months, years to the recovery?
I wish I knew the answer to that, because I'd be betting my money in a given way. But if you take the start of this going back around 08, I think we probably have, with all of the stimulus that the government has put to work, people on the corporate side and the individual side have been deleveraging, paying off debt. So that's part of what's happened, is that we're not seeing people spending money because they've been paying down debt. So that's taking some of the demand out of the economy. At some point, people will stop that. When that is, I'm not quite sure. But we're beginning to see, on the banking side, we're beginning to see people come back in for car loans, for installment loans. So we're seeing that. And for those that are credit worthy and are ready to step back out there and start buying, rates are low. We want to lend money to those that are good credit risk. But it still looks like it has a way to go. I would not think that we're going to see the type of turnaround that folk were hoping to for a while. And I even think getting back to the employment numbers that were there prior to the recession, if we're adding roughly 1 million new jobs have been added since the Obama administration came in. But we lost roughly 7-8 million. It went from the peak to the trough. So at this rate, we got a long way to go before the job growth is back at that level. But I would think we're looking 18 months, 2 years before it's going to feel like things are getting better for people.
What would you recommend for folks to survive this, if you will, weather the storm and get to the prosperous times on the horizon?
I think people are doing it for the most part. First thing is pay down your debt and keep your expenses low. I mean, if you have debt that's out there, because debt is tough to carry. It is really difficult mentally to be paying for something that you've already consumed, when many people find themselves doing that. But you got to do that, because you got to pay that debt down to get yourself back into a position where you're a good bank customer again, where you can borrow the kind of monies that you need. So keep the expenses low. And pay down debt to the extent that you can. Protect that credit rating at all costs, because that's so important for lots of things. Buying cars, getting favorable rates, buying housing, all those things. So you want to protect that credit rating, and you do that by keeping your debts low, paying your bills on time. From a creditor standpoint, we don't want all of it to be paid back. We just want you to pay back what you're supposed to each month. That's what we want. So let people do that, and I think they'll be in good shape. But don't take on any additional debt. Keep your expenses in line, and just try to buckle down and hang on, because things will get better. And you know, people forget sometimes, depending on when you came into this thing. You know, there are times when I came out of high school in '73, the textile industry had taken it on the chin. And in my hometown, Rock Hill, you're familiar with it, Rock Hill had nearly 25% unemployment at that time. So there have been more difficult times. We don't tend to remember those, but it's a tough time, and I don't mean to try to belittle that. It is a very difficult time for many, many people, but times have been worse, and times will be better.
And still to come, we've got that behind-the-scenes look at the new Steven Spielberg movie as directed by J.J. Abrams, Super 8. Plus, we'll take a look at what's going on in and around the Metro. All that and more when MyMetroTV.com. Daybreak, first stop to the rest of the weekend continues.
Here's a myth. Having an insurance agent costs you more money. The truth? An Allstate agent can save you a bundle by helping you get all of the discounts you deserve. Discounts for safe driving, anti-lock brakes, owning a new car, paying electronically, having more than one policy, and more. All told, the Good Hands offer more than 30 different car and home insurance discounts.
Give Eric Rutherford a call at the Rutherford Agency today. Times are tough across the country, and foreclosure is a part of that reality. Bluebird Property Management wants to help with their foreclosure forgiveness program, created to assist individuals who are looking for a new home as a result of a foreclosure within the last 12 months. Give us a call to see if we can help. 803-661-6782.
We at Bluebird Property Management know times are tough. We understand your situation and we want to help. Give us a call today.
For the latest in hot looks, trends, and styles, visit Styling Point Salon, 9710 Two Notch Road in Northeast Columbia. Styling Point Salon specializes in styles, cuts, colors, relaxers, and a wide array of weaving and braiding. Call or stop by and see Luann White and the ladies of Styling Point Salon today and take your styling to the next level. Styling Point Salon. Hi, I'm Frederick Knight, the Microphone Doctor, reminding you, join me for Weekends and More on KISS 103.1. I had the opportunity to speak briefly with funny man Ricky Smiley. Ricky was the MC for the Black Expo Gospel Best competition. I got the comedian's views on the competition and the expo.
I don't know why, Lord. Y'all don't know nothing about Sister Kate to sing. I wish I had that with me, boy. That's some good old Alabama sing. That's some good old, y'all. I know y'all have church here. You come to Birmingham, Alabama and go to church. How about the paramedic come to our church at least twice a month? That's how they be falling out of our church, boy.
Oh, it was real important. I think it's always good to have, play gospel music and, have some love and admiration for God, because, God comes first. Most of us black folks, Baptists, and, we all go to church. And I think the choir competition was just absolutely phenomenal, and I think it was appropriate.
Okay, what about the Black Expo itself? The importance
it's really important because black people don't network like they should. And I think y'all promoting and supporting black businesses and stuff or whatever, and I think it's just awesome and on point.
J.J. Abrams is in charge of the Steven Spielberg sci-fi offering. In 1979, following the closure of a U.S. Air Force section of Area 51, the cargo is being transported and derails and unleashes the unknown specimen, and all hell breaks loose.
Super 8 came out of two separate ideas. One was the idea of doing a film about kids making Super 8 movies in the late 70s, early 80s. And the other was a sort of monster movie idea that I'd had. And one was a group of characters that I sort of loved, but without a story that would, I think, compel people to go see it. And one was a kind of compelling premise, but no original characters. So I sort of tried to combine the two and found that they sort of serviced each other in a cool way. So that was the idea. One of the challenges of Super 8 is that the cast of the movie has some adults and some kids. And I wanted the kids in the movie to feel like genuine, real, soulful kids and not sort of entitled, actory kids, which is often, what you get. And the search was endless and took months and months and months and months and months. And it was pushing production because we couldn't find people. And but we had an amazing casting director, April Webster and Alyssa Weisberg. They were just wonderful. They just saw thousands and thousands of kids.
First of all, you're working with J.J. Abrams, and as you read the script, you can sort of get a sense of its scope and scale. But also within the scope and scale, you've got these characters that have these emotional through lines that an audience can grab onto, and you've got characters that are constantly developing throughout the movie. And it's just another reason to sit and want to be with these people. Visually as well, with Mr. Fong doing his thing, it's going to be beautiful. The special effects are going to be incredible. You're in good hands with the director. You're in good hands with the producers. You're in good hands all the way around. So basically there's, I sort of got the feeling that this is a no-brainer. I'm very fortunate to be part of this group of folks.
I've got nothing against your friends. I like your friends. Well, things have obviously changed for us.
I have to help Charles finish his movie.
Be good for you to spend some time with kids who don't run around with cameras and monster makeup.
Could you close your eyes, please? Yeah. And action! Guys, watch out!
An eastbound freighter derailed. What the cargo was on that freighter, we don't know.
We can't tell anyone. I know.
I understand you have concerns about our cargo.
Colonel, there isn't anything else that I should know, is there?
I can assure you the answer is no.
We've gotten calls from people who found local dogs, but the calls coming in aren't local.
Lucy!
It's like they all just ran away.
I've got property damage. I've got theft. I've got 9 people missing now. There are things happening around here that I can't explain.
We have to find this thing. I don't feel good about this.
Go!
I saw it. No one believes me.
I believe you. What the hell?